Good evening, guys. Good evening. Hopefully you all going well. Welcome to Sunday Night Q&A on Impact Dynamics Live. We are been having some challenging situations with YouTube, but I think we're there. So if you jump in the chat, let us know that we are happening, we're going, and we've got a few guests on tonight. They're making noise in the background. That's what they do. Bunch of stuff. Hopefully you've had a good weekend. Let us know in the chat what you've been doing on Saturday and Sunday. Probably just sitting at home waiting for this, I guess. I don't know. That's where we're up to. I've spent all weekend designing and setting up a new projectile warehouse website with some level of degree of success, perhaps. All sorts of exciting parts came out of that, but it's finally up. And the code is still valid. ID Live with the number 5 on the end. ID LIVE 5. That is all happening, all good to go on the new one. Tonight we have a few guests, Emma Stevens, who was on Friday's show, Dave Acker, who I think was on the week before, one of the earlier guests, and Andy Little, who we can't get rid of. That's the way. So, good to see some people who were dry firing on the weekend. That's the good stuff, making the most of it. Anyway, so we've got 3 guests on tonight to answer some questions. We've had a few questions come through, but if you have any questions to hit these guys up with, be them shooting related, I guess maybe a little bit adjacent, don't go too far or too personal, I'm not sure. No, Dave will probably answer anything. Anyway, the questions, chuck them in the chat or message us through anything along those lines, and we'll throw them to the guys and see what they have to say. Shall we see if they're ready? I think they're ready. Guys, can you hear us?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah?
Hello.
All right, let's see if we can see you. There you go.
Oh, don't eat that.
It's all going on. What's happening, Andy? Let's kick off with you. We saw you on Thursday night. What's the latest?
Well, at the moment I've been renovating the bathroom a bit. Found out the shower's leaking a bit into the wall adjacent to it. So just ripping out grout and re-grouting the shower.
Oh, lovely. That's what you need. Yeah, good.
Yeah.
Nice. What about you, Dave? We haven't seen you for a little while.
Yeah, really just working from home and now doing this video chat again from home. Got a lot of reloading done. I'm gonna be ready to rock and roll whenever the PRS starts up again. But
yeah, nice. Yeah. Okay, good. Yeah. And who else is there? Someone. Anyway, moving on to the next. Hello, Emma. Hello, Emma. We saw you. Felt like 10 minutes ago.
Rusty.
Felt like we were just there. So it's that's why. But how's your weekend been? Nice and quiet and self-isolated.
My weekend, yeah, it's been great. I did have a bit of a moment today, though. So I've had to endure Scott McMillan's excitement for months about this freaking Gerard that he got. And I'm like, okay. Yeah, man, yes. It trims your cases. Get over it. Anyway, so today...
Yeah, you wouldn't have used one before.
I had 200 cases.
Yep.
And so I'm like, what is this magnificent creature? So I was like 200 rounds today of just pure delight. It was so good.
Fantastic.
That was my weekend.
Well, that's a good way to experience a garrote. Any weekend with a garrote involved is a good weekend, I think. I've just realised I've got a challenge. I've got a bottle of beer here, and I haven't got a bottle opener close by, so I've got to deal with my own problems.
Sucker.
Yeah, I didn't plan that one too well, did I? Oh, well, very good. Now, we're starting to get a few questions in the chat, so guys, keep them going. Hey, Emma, I do want to let you know, you currently hold the record now for the most likes on one of these live videos. You also hold the record for the most views on one of these live videos. So, smashing it.
There are like 4 YouTube accounts in this house, though. So
there is actually one more.
It's only like 5, 4.
Paul and Levi are pretty good at YouTube, so.
There is one more record.
Hey, kids, go watch this 8 times or you're grounded, both of you.
Yeah, that's right.
Also let Dave ride your motorbike.
Yes, yeah, or you're grounded.
I do also want to let you know.
Oh, you'll be pleased to know that Andrew's ordered parts for that motorbike. Sorry.
Right, so some cross conversations that are unrelated. I love it. All right,
Sorry.
good. Emma, I do want to add one more to your record, though. You're also the most disliked video of these live streams.
I know. Two people didn't like it. I want names. I want names. I want addresses. I want to know.
Yeah,
I think one of them was Butters. I heard one was Butters.
Butters sent a photo afterwards proving it wasn't him. Although he may have like unliked it,
and then he did it again.
Yeah, could have done.
I'm never giving him back his jumper again. Next time he loses it, it's mine.
All right. Cool. All right. Now let's jump in the chat, see if any questions are going on here. Oh yeah, here's a good one. Who do you guys look up to in terms of role models or good shooters, and why? Andy, is there anyone that you idolise more than just for your haircut and beard?
I can't say I really do. I don't know. I sort of just.
So I was just getting my beer open. That was the noise.
Yeah. No, to be honest, I can't say I really idolise anyone or.
Is there someone
like
whose
that,
channels
your
socials you follow and do those sort of things to get tips? Have you got some recommendations on that side of things?
I sort of just watch the top guys in the Australian PRS, watch them and see how they do stuff. Follow a few guys in the States. I can try and bring up their names, but can't ring a bell at the moment.
Mm-hmm.
I just watch a lot of stuff. I don't particularly follow too hard. Yeah.
Okay. No, fair
That
enough.
makes sense.
Has anyone got anyone they do follow, Emma or Dave?
I follow Philip Vallejo on Instagram. He's got some pretty solid content I've found. And sorry to cut you off, Emma.
No, go for it, Dave.
Okay.
You've taken the floor.
I recently became Australian, so now I got to be rude and be like, "Oh, honor me, why?" Yeah.
No apologies.
Yeah, no more stories, eh?
Yeah, you can't apologise for things anymore. I'm sorry, Dave. That's congratulations on becoming Australian as well, or commiserations, or whatever you think of it. Anyway, Emma, is there anyone you spent some time watching on socials and stuff for that sort of thing?
Yeah. I obviously think Regina's pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
I think she's awesome. I love how she holds her own, and she's really knowledgeable. I've been lucky enough to have a chat with her here and there. She's given me some advice, and it's always like really, really good advice. Like,
yeah.
So yeah, it makes sense. Like, because of her, I checked my length of pull, and it was totally wrong. So that was good. But also, obviously, I look up to my super coach. So without Andrew, I would be pathetic. So yeah, he's a bit of a legend.
Yep. Yep. Yeah.
So certainly not Scott McMillan at all.
Okay, let's. One day we're going to get Scott on this show. Very good. All right, cool. That's good to know. Hey, this one may be a little bit more for Dave and myself, but let's throw it out anyway. From Anthony on Facebook has asked, how can I go about making a local club to do PRS style events? I'm in Wodonga in Victoria. The closest one is 3 hours away. Dave, you've been involved in the setup or setting up of a club currently. Have you?
Yes.
You've got, are you guys not quite there, or are you pretty close, aren't you?
Yes, we are pretty close. Basically have committees pre-selected, paperwork drafted up, all that sort of thing. Yep. I think it was basically just a matter, because I should say I run a lot of kind of the on the ground stuff. And my other partner in crime, he's the one who basically takes care of a lot of the behind the scenes stuff.
Yeah.
So in terms of the admin in the back end, my knowledge is probably lacking, I guess I could say, in that specific area. But my understanding was before this whole COVID-19 thing kicked off and closed all the ranges and competitions, we were extremely close. It was just some more final details and paperwork had to be sorted out.
Yep.
And basically just cross the T's and dot the I's. But obviously, this whole situation has brought up some more pressing things, and it's been kind of put on the back burner for now.
Sure.
Now, in terms of getting it started, I mean, like started from complete scratch.
Mm-hmm.
I think we were pretty lucky at Little River in that the range staff there already knew what it was all about.
Yep. A boot.
About, yeah. I still can't say that in Australian yet. And the guy who's been helping me, Andrew, he's actually one of the ROs there. So he knows the staff pretty well. So we kind of had some ins already. But from what I understand, the best way to go about it, because I've had to kind of show it off at work, and I've always wanted to get work involved, is show them what it's about, explain why it's good. Mainly one thing, it gets a lot of new people into the sport. It's going to help bring in income to your club and everything. Highlight the benefits to the club.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously, yeah.
Yeah, very, very good.
Make it appeal to the club, or make it appeal to the range where you want to have the club, I guess, would be a start. Just talk to them, familiarize them with it. Yeah,
I guess I've got the other experience in setting it up. We've gone from scratch to a fairly large club fairly quickly. You've got to have buy-in of facility. So if you've got a club that's supportive, that's super important. You'll find that in the next, obviously, once you get through this challenge, although right at the moment might actually be not a bad place or time to start getting paperwork or start getting discussions underway, because at the moment, everything's still happening. You just can't do anything. And that's what it's like when you're starting a club, is you can't do anything, but stuff is still chipping away in the background. And so our club took about 10 months to go from first meeting to actually pulling triggers, and we didn't have to worry about a range. We had a range as part of that. So I would probably get on things soon. SSAA have approved a precision rifle rule book. So if you're connected to a SSAA club at all, and they are, 300-400 meters plus and can shoot steel, or at least have the layout that could be approved for that. So like a metallic silhouette club is a good place to start. That is a good option. Use the other clubs. I can send you data and bits and pieces of other clubs and how they've started, and the amount of people that it's inclined to bring in. That's fairly interesting. Clubs are interested when there's a potential for a lot of members. So that may be something to consider as well. But if you can get a good team behind you, I think that's what you'll sort of back me up on, Dave, is 2 or 3 core guys will change going from a great idea to actually happening.
And that's where I kind of got really lucky in terms, there was a lot of, I guess, ins and groundwork that was kind of already there. It was just kind of get the few people who were willing to actually put stuff on paper, get the wheels moving, and basically say, we want to take advantage of this opportunity.
Yep. Okay. Guys, anything else that either of you want to say for club point of view? I know, Andy, you're a member at our club to some degree.
Nah.
Awesome. Emma, just keeping you updated. Ian Nolan has admitted to being one of the dislikes. Do with that what you wish.
I know, but that's all right, because next time we shoot together, I'll just kick his ass again.
Well, that would have happened normally. Anyway, cool. So, Anthony, mate, drop us a line. Get in touch. There is ways to make it happen now, but you need that core group of guys to do it, and you need somewhere to actually have that happen. And to be fair, compared to a lot of places, 3 hours isn't actually that far away. A lot of guys travel a lot further to go shoot matches than that, and even small one-day club matches. So, I'm all for shooting. All for starting new clubs. Absolutely. Want to see heaps more of them over the next 2 years. But also be grateful for what you have. If you have a club within 3 hours, that's actually pretty good. All right. Next one up. Andrew started shooting when he was 5 or 6 years old, which is about the same age as me. What's the best way to introduce your 5-year-old daughter into the shooting fraternity? Well, let's just say you wait until whatever legal age is required in your jurisdiction, and then wherever that age kicks in, you guys have any advice for juniors? I mean, you've got a couple of sons.
Yep.
What have you done to get them on board?
Again, I think it's mostly been thanks to Andrew that the boys love shooting. But I suppose, I love it too. So I think a lot of it is, very basic level, like monkey see, monkey do. They're always with us. We always, they're coming with us spotlighting.
Is that why Andrew's more involved with it?
Yes. Yeah.
The monkey part.
Not monkey say.
Good. Anyway, sorry, carry on.
But yeah, so they've always come along with us when we went spotlighting and things, and always had to watch and, would run out and get the rabbits or whatever. We're a part of it, but not necessarily shooting until, they could. So, but yeah, it's, so we sort of cottoned on to South Australia being able to shoot a bit younger than Victoria. So we jumped straight on that with Bo, and he actually shot a 22 match at Monarto.
He did.
And he had a great time. He came 11th out of like 35 adults. So when he was 10.
Yeah.
That was great. Yeah, like it's
That's awesome.
And it was awesome, yeah. And one of the stages, actually, this is like, I'm getting off topic, but one of the stages, so Andrew shot, and then I shot, and then Bo shot, and all the same 22. Andrew shot, miss. He's like, something wrong with the gun. I shot, miss. You're like, yeah, definitely something wrong with the gun. Bo cleaned it. We're like, oh, we're just shit. So
fantastic.
anyway, yeah, I think it's just got a lot to do with teaching them the right way to handle guns, have a healthy respect for it, and show them how fun it can be as well. And I think once they get old enough, they want to do it. So we're just waiting for this whole Ebola thing to go away so Bo can get his junior license, because he's 12 now. So here in Vic, he can get his junior license. So he's very excited.
Fantastic. Yeah, I think we've had juniors come through the club, and it's really just a matter of looking after them, getting them shooting. Generally, it's a sport that if people try, they generally enjoy it. So I think that's the main thing, is to get them to try it. Andy, unless you got anything to add for the juniors that you've seen come through the club?
No, I don't think so. Probably just obviously you introduce them, you start them small with the 22, and just let them have fun. Don't probably jump in on some large caliber thing or something that's too loud that might just scare them for the first few shots. But yeah, just something small and cruisy, and go more about the fun side of it rather than the stricter discipline side. But yeah, obviously, keep doing that. But
I agree with you. Yeah, that's good. Cool. All right. There is. We've done that one. There's a question there from Ian Emma, which I'm sure is directed to you. Go through your brass trimmer. What's it like? But we already covered the Garord from the top, so that would be. That's just the one. There's only one brass trimmer worth getting, I believe.
There is.
Hey, Ian, you should buy one so I can use it.
Wrong. It's probably me.
Okay.
Are you going to borrow it next?
Am I?
No, Dave.
Dave. Yeah, I was going to say.
No, I'm telling Ian to buy one because he asked the question and he lives a couple blocks down the road from me, so I won't have to drive. I won't have to drive a couple hours to use the other half of Team Burris's garage. I can just go next door with a 6-pack and go, all right, let's trim some brass.
Very good. All right.
Tell him to let me know if he does, because I'll get one too.
Okay.
What, another 6-pack?
I need more than a 6-pack. That doesn't cut it.
Andy, question for you. Tim has asked if you've put a new barrel on your 6.5 yet. I don't believe you have you?
No, I haven't. I just went with a lighter pill, pushing it harder, just trying to burn it out faster, pretty much.
That'll do it.
Yeah. No, it still seems to be grouping all right, the load I'm running. So, but it definitely is on the cards. I do want something heavier to sort of balance it out a bit better. Yeah.
Out of curiosity, just because I shot a TAC A1 last year, where was I going with this? How many rounds do you reckon you're on, and what powder charge are you using to get, say, X amount of velocity at the moment?
So I'm running 2209 powder.
Okay, those are on the same, yeah. So here's a good comparison basis. Yeah.
Yeah, I was running the 143 LDX.
Okay.
At about 2750.
Yeah.
And
how much 2209? How much 2209 were you putting behind them?
That was 42.5 grains.
Yeah, gotcha.
And now I'm running the 140 grain LDMs with 44 grains of 09, and they're going. I think they're going 28, like mid 28s. Yeah, they're pretty quick.
So I think we estimated mine had well in excess of 5,000 on it, and I was up to 44.1 grains of 09, and I was getting about 2650 with Sierra 140 Match Kings.
Oh, wow. Yeah, I reckon mine would be up around the 2,000 rounds now. It'd be pushing up there. Yeah.
There's
you can still get a bit more out of it, but depends how. If you want to just throw your rego fees into the wind or not when you go.
Yeah, that's it. That's great.
Andy, we've had a comment that you are currently looking very similar to Pat Rafter at the moment.
Oh, yeah.
So anyway, do that what you will. Good question.
I'm going to have to Google that.
Question here from Travi Harris. What is a one bad habit you're looking to change in your shooting process? Dave, let's kick off with you because Emma's making weird eyes about that question.
I always make weird eyes.
In terms of PRS, I guess stop getting so excited about everything.
Hang on. This is coming from you. You're saying don't get excited. What? How are you planning to achieve that?
Maybe, I know, right? It's really hard. But maybe just stop getting so excited and distracted by everything and just calm down and remember the basics. And just kind of, if I'm looking through the scope and something, if the bullet hits off to the right of the target, sit there and go, oh, wait, that went to the right of the target. I should calm down and make the correction instead of just going, oh, to hell with the accuracy through volume. Something, the wind will change. It will go back in. Slow down and think and remember the basics and fundamentals is because I get pretty excited when I get to the firing line in PRS and the fundamentals just kind of go.
Very good. Andy, what about you? Oh, sorry. Carry on.
No. Staying cool under pressure. Yeah.
Staying cool under pressure. I like it. Andy, what about you, Pat?
Yeah, that definitely that mindset of staying cool when it builds up, especially if you're the first shooter up on a stage, just try and relax. I get pretty worked up on that. And I think I still need to try not to rush through a stage and get every shot off. Just try and pull it back a bit, and every shot I take, just make it a clean shot and stop just trying to rush through it. So, just to work on that hit ratio. And I think by doing that, I'll end up with a better score at the end of it. That's pretty much it.
All right. Emma, yourself?
So I think when I'm looking through the spotting scope, when it's my turn next, and I'm like trying to read the wind, I need to actually pay attention. to reading the wind instead of just like looking through the scope going, oh yeah, that's cool. I just go blank. Yeah. And definitely don't rush.
Yep.
I found especially the last match I shot, like I just blazed and I should have just slowed down. I'm like, I'm not steady, bang. Why did I do that? It just, I don't know. Need to slow down.
I was going to say something else to throw in because we've all said basically the same thing here. Something else, which is another bad habit. Well, I wouldn't say it's a bad habit. I just don't think I'm at I don't think I'm not at that level of shooting yet, is to stop worrying so much about my reloading and ammunition.
Yep.
Because last year I was trying to get ahead of myself and go, the temperature is going to be different at this range. I'll try and tweak my load a bit and this and that. And it just led to massive inconsistency. I was spending way too much time behind the reloading bench and not enough time behind the rifle dry firing or actually shooting and getting solid data that, you can account for slight variations like that or with what we're doing. I'm not at the level yet where, tweaking the temperature is going to make the critical difference between a hit and a miss for me yet. So,
yeah. I think, that's a huge thing. Sometimes a lot of people fuss over that, getting that extra 0.1 or 0.2 of an inch or better group. Yeah. And then when you rock up on a barricade, you're just all over the shop that, it doesn't make a difference, does it?
You're like, I have a 3 foot per second SD, but I have no idea how to shoot this or hold this rifle steady on this barricade.
Yeah, absolutely. I think most guys will back that up and say we often spend a lot. We poorly allocate our time, and that's something where it's probably true in life, isn't it? But we often poorly allocate our time where we spend it on the stuff that doesn't net the big results. Where you could spend an hour on something major about how to kneel properly or improve your standing position, and you'll get so much more benefit for it for the same amount of time, and then worry about the little stuff later on. Yeah. I think you guys are on the money there, guys. We're going to take a very short break. We'll leave you guys to join us back in a moment because we're on this Zoom thing and we've just got to reset it. So we'll check in with the other guys. The next few days, we've got a few exciting guests coming up, which is wonderful. Tomorrow night, Kerry Adams joins me. If you don't know Kerry runs Precision Shooter out of New Zealand, and so he's going to stay up late and join us. Also runs the Bloke website and just general all round good guy. And I've been trying to get on a chat with him between he and I and his podcast, my podcast, and other bits and pieces. We've been attempting to make something happen for a little while, although not actively. We've been a little slack in that, and so it takes an entire pandemic for us to actually make something happen. But anyway, that's happening tomorrow night. So he's a really interesting guy, got a lot of experience, a lot of ideas, and has shot a huge amount. So I'm really looking forward to doing that. Really interesting guy to speak with. So that will be really good. Wednesday night, Simo from Honey HQ is joining us for a chat. So that should be a laugh. Anyway, that will be good fun, and then we've got a few other guests planned out next week. So looking forward to that all happening. It's going to be a good show, and we'll duck Ben Jarrett into the mix at some point soon to get him back on the weird positions thing. We've been stringing that out for way too long, not necessarily because we wanted to, just purely that's the way it has happened. Anyway, we are getting back on deck. Emma is back in the room. Guys, if you've got questions, hit us up in the chat. We've got a few more to get through now. And it's great to see a few new names in the chat there as well, which is fantastic. Great to see. It's good stuff. All right, let's see where we go from here. Next question up. I know Emma is listening. I've lost it. I've gone to the wrong page. Weight of the rifle? That is a question. It's coming from Jake Simmons. So Jake, let's hit that one up because he just built a new gun, or he just spec'd up a new thing and wants to see how it compares to everyone else's. So I mean, first up, Jake, don't compare yourself to other people. Really like go out on your own and look after yourself and you're your own man. So you'll be fine. But let's see who's back on deck here. Right. I haven't got this camera working. There we go. Guys, welcome back. Do you guys know the weight of your rifle? Emma?
I do. Mine is 7.4 grams.
7.4? Yep, that's you said that on Friday night, didn't you? Andy, what about you, mate? You're running a beast of a thing, or?
It's quite heavy with the...
Andy, you sound like you're underwater, mate. We're going to jump over to Dave if you want to try and fix your audio up. Dave, what is your rifle running at? Do you know?
I was hoping he'd answer because we're running the same rifle, and I actually don't know.
I love it.
Give me a second, though.
Yep.
Give me a second. Google will answer all. Hopefully, I can keep in the meantime here.
I am sure.
Right. So I am running a Tika T3X TAC A1.
Yep.
And let's find out here. Go on to the old. I should know this off the top of my head.
Is your audio any better? Let's try you again.
Yeah, can you hear me now?
Yeah, that's better, mate. What's the weight of your rifle?
Yeah, that's a good question. Like Dave, I haven't weighed mine, but it's quite heavy up front. It is getting to that point now where it's coming off of a barricade. It's almost two hands. Like,
yep.
Yeah, it's getting up there. Okay. It does slow me down moving around. Yeah.
Okay. Very good.
But like on the plus side, I don't have to work so hard on recoil management, and it makes up for a lot of my lack of skill. So.
At least you've got your honesty going for you. That's excellent.
To answer the question here, I think you're looking at. Oh God, I can't think in kilograms. Canada says we use kilograms, but yeah, no. It's saying here about 5 kilograms is the weight of the TAC A1. So.
Okay, plus scope.
Really?
Plus. Yeah.
Yeah, plus scope.
Yeah.
So, okay. Yeah, anyway, all right. Sounds good. Question here from Sheldrake. I've heard the idea of running a comp with paper targets for clubs that ain't allowed steel targets. How do you feel about such an idea? Emma, you shoot a little bit of service rifle which uses paper targets already. I'm guessing where he's referring to like a PRS style match. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, I know that the service rifle matches are great. Like it's really good. Like it's different to PRS where there's not as much movement. So it probably would be. I don't know. I think it'd be a bit tricky to run a PRS with paper targets. But yeah, in terms of the PSR, it's great. It's a good day. Yeah, it's a really good. I'd be happy to go and do it, obviously, because I do. But yeah, I think it'd be fine. Am I going around in circles?
That's all right. Anyone else got any thoughts on the matter?
I think it'd be fine. You just have to make sure the logistics are good, because I think it'd be a bit hard to run a paper match with, say, 60 shooters, because every time. Yeah. I mean, you could do multiple targets on the same sheet. And say, all right, shooter, you have to shoot the third target in on the second row or something, which you could get around maybe having to change the target every time. But the only issue you'd start encountering with that is you'd probably have people starting to shoot the wrong targets very frequently.
We did a couple of stages at the finale, didn't we, Paper? There was 2.
We did.
Wasn't there?
And there's a few people that had a bit of a hard time seeing which target they had to shoot at from memory.
There have been a few paper targets, and there's no rules that say you can't shoot paper targets in a PRS type match. It's just not necessarily common to see for the logistics you talked about, though. And I think, I mean, if it's a difference between a local club shooting that style and not shooting that style, yeah, do it. Absolutely do it, because you'd be better to having a crack or more of the service rifle. You would definitely need to be creative in how you would do your course of fire. And I think you could run a pretty decent course of fire with paper, but you'd have to design it around there. There's just some stuff that you could not do, plain and simple. But aside from that, yeah, worth a shot. Better to be shooting than not be shooting, for sure.
Yeah.
All right, and one here from Ben Richo, talking position stability and NPA. Okay, how far do your crosshairs move in mil under recoil when you're on prone or barricade? Do you guys know that? And what have I missed?
Depends on the position, I guess.
Right, well, let's go with prone first. Do you know how far off on prone you go?
Yeah,
I'm actually.
Dave, go.
You go first.
Sorry.
Yeah. All right. To be honest, I have no idea. Yeah, I couldn't tell you. So there's my productive answer.
I'm glad we threw to you.
As long as the hope would be that you can still see the target after your recoil goes, so you can see your fall of shot, and if you've gone off target or even maybe on target and you need to correct a bit more to make sure you get surefire hits rather than kind of dicey hits on the edge.
Mm-hmm.
That's all I really gun for at the moment. Just make sure I can see the target, but I've never actually measured how far it goes off on recoil.
Good. All right.
Did he specify caliber? It would depend on caliber and recoil and all that sort of
Yes,
stuff.
if you're shooting 308 with 180 grain projectiles, you're not going to see the target.
Yeah. Yeah.
I remember shooting a stage at a club match at Little River, and it was prone, and you had to shoot like as quick as you could.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't remember it moving at all, really.
Okay.
Yeah.
Maybe I was just having a great time. Not much.
Yeah.
Not enough to notice, no.
What about positional changes? It certainly.
Yeah, well, I'm pretty sure if I was prone, I reckon that initial impulse comes back and it moves about 1 to 1.5 mil for me, just like, off memory. But then that initial impulse, it then settles back down, and it's pretty well within that 1 mil. And then
if your position's right, it should.
That's it. Yeah, it's pretty well settles almost back on it. But going off a barricade, I know with the attacks being a little bit rear heavy, that recoil it would almost come out of the scope sometimes for myself if my position's not stable. But once I added the weights at the front, the recoil was more straight back, so you probably only move like 3 or 4 mil off target, and then I just have to settle it back in. So, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, very, very good. Another question.
And I think barricades too, it depends on how steady your position is, and if you're square behind the gun and
and
a lot of it comes into
potentially how steady the barricade itself is.
Yeah.
Because if you can have a solid position and you stay everything, but the barricade goes,
that's it.
You know you're at Scott's Palm.
Good. Lana asks, what do you guys think about building a rig rather than buying one over the counter? Andy, you kicked into production last year and has moved to open. What are your thoughts on starting out with this?
I mean, if money wasn't an object, I'd be pretty keen on building my own rig. I would pretty much just try and source the best equipment I can afford at that time, and just go with that if money wasn't an option. I think it would be great to be able to go around and just try a few different actions, try some different scopes, and then just pick the best of the crop and put it together. Yeah, I reckon that'd be awesome.
Yep. Okay. What about you, Emma?
I think just from the experiences I've had, I really like my rifle. It's custom built. So I actually have serious feelings for it. I love it. But starting out, I just started with like a Ticker, like T3 Sporter. I think that's what it was. And they're just like plug and play. Like you don't have to worry about anything with them. So I think I was happy to have that from the beginning because it's just a good all-rounder. It's not as touchy, I suppose you could say. Yep. Some custom rifles are a little bit needy. They need a bit more love. So, yeah. So I think just starting out, I think you should just go and get just a rifle off the shelf and see if you like it and go from there, I really think.
Yeah, cool. Awesome. There's a little clarification. Oh, sorry, Dave. Have you got anything? I mean, you're biased because you sell these guns. So have you got anything to add to it?
Well, that being said, I do have 2 actions without barrels that are currently waiting to be built into custom rigs. So not completely biased, but I'd kind of liken it back and probably agree with Emma. I liken it back to the reloading thing where if you're starting out, especially in this discipline, just go something that's assembled because if you haven't shot PRS, you don't know positions, you don't know data of your cartridge. If you need to learn PRS, you're going to gain absolutely nothing by fiddling around trying to make, aftermarket magazines work with a certain action or something like that.
Yep.
That will benefit your shooting in absolutely zero way. Whereas if you have a rifle that just works and you can get out there and get proper feedback on your technique and what you're doing, you're going to be way better off in the long run. It's like, I'm not going to use my shooting because I'm not winning yet, but I liken it to my piano practice when I was a kid. Getting a better piano isn't going to make you a better piano player, but playing a piano more often but still tuned properly is going to make you a good piano player.
Are you a good piano player?
I was when I was 12 years old.
So like
I've got a
3 years
keyboard
ago.
I'm going to bring to the next match.
See, $100 keyboard, as long as it's tuned properly, you can get really good on that. Where if you have a, $100,000
you press a button and it plays stuff.
Yeah.
Where if you have a $100,000 grand piano, if you play it once a year, it's probably going to suck.
I just press one button on this and I can, look, making music right now. Look at us go.
Maestro Rusty.
Yeah, that's right. I've got it going on. Now, there's some follow-up from Ben about his question regarding point of aim and that sort of things. He's talking about a 6.5 Creedmoor, and he's talking about like natural point of aim type thing. And so he's just trying to, I guess, self-assess as to whether the method he's using whether the position he's building is actually quite good based on how far off the target his gun jumps. And the theory, I guess, being that if you pull the trigger, hit or miss the target, but you are staying on the target through your scope, you're probably in a pretty solid position. But if you are way off, you're in a position that's maybe moving to the left, right, wherever you're going. Andy, any thoughts on that sort of way of doing things?
Yeah, definitely. I definitely notice when I'm shooting support side, my after that recoil, my target will be way off on support side because not used to it. It's all over the place. When I'm prone on my strong side, it's solid. Same with if I'm shooting off a bench and just bending over behind the rifle. That's solid.
Emma, why did you smirk so much then, Emma? Never mind. Back to Andy. Sorry.
He didn't know what it was called, bending over. Sorry.
Let Pat Rafter speak, okay?
Sorry.
But on barricades and things, the majority of the time I'll try and free recoil. So as long as my shoulder is only like just behind the rifle and just barely touching it, that's a bit harder to understand. I guess that comes down to what sort of bag you're using or support you're using on that barricade, and how well your rifle balances. But yeah, I'd say if on a good day, if you're prone behind it, you should pretty much settle within like half to 1 MOA mil back on the target. Should be pretty solid. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, cool. It's not a bad method at all. I think you're onto the right thing there, Ben.
And
yes, Emma.
Thanks. I think that like the most important thing, and this isn't like I didn't make this up. Andrew taught me this. But
Did
when
he make it
you're
up?
practicing like dry fire, hey,
Did he make it up?
Yes. He's the oracle, man. But no, so when you're like dry firing or whatever, and you think you're in a solid position, relax, close your eyes for like, 10, 20 seconds, open your eyes again. If you're still pointing at that target exactly where you were before, you're in a good position. Mm-hmm. If you open your eyes and you're not in the same position, you're crap. You need to start again. Yeah.
Good. Okay. Yeah, nothing wrong with that. All right, there's a question here for Andy and Dave. Sorry, Emma, you missed out. What Acker rail setups are you using on your TAC A1s? Dave, are you running an Acker rail setup?
Much to the, what's the word I'm looking for? Complaining, obsessive compulsive complaining of my teammate Scott McMillan, I am not yet.
Yeah.
I hope to be at some point this year.
Yeah.
Off a glance, I haven't really paid much attention to them at this point. One, I don't have a tripod yet. So I'm probably going to save my pennies and get a tripod first.
Tripod's coming at scoped out in the next week or two. So just letting you know, tripod's coming at scoped out. Anyway.
Locked in,
but I have seen actually and played around with it a bit. I still don't know how to pronounce his business. The Manil, is that how you pronounce it?
Sure.
Manil.
Yep.
But yeah, Nick's Acker rails. I've actually screwed around with them quite a bit, and they're pretty solid pieces of equipment. So I reckon I'll probably invest in one of them after I acquire the tripod.
Yeah, cool. What about you, Andy? Are you running something?
Yeah, so like Dave, I was also running the Manil Acker rail, and that was a pretty good system. Had the measurements down the side there, so if I knew how wide a barricade was, and I knew that my bipod had to be pulled back to that position to sort of grab onto that barricade, just remember that, and it was good to rock and roll. At the moment, I'm currently running the barricade stop and Acker attachment from STS Targets, which is specifically made for the TAC A1, and that works a treat. So, barricade stop just gives you something to push against, and it balances out nicely.
Very good, excellent. Well, guys, we've got about 5 minutes or so left. If there are any further questions, hit us up for any last questions. Andy, you look like you thought of something, mate. No?
No, I'm disappointed there's only 5 minutes left.
Okay, you're sad. I know.
I'm only halfway through my drink.
Well, hurry up then. Okay, we're going to watch Andy Sculler's drink. Go on.
You know what I'm surprised in this day and age of quarantine? No one has asked us yet on this chat whether or not we think Carol Baskin fed her husband to the Tigers. What do you guys think?
All right, well, we'll start. Dave, we're going to start with you because you brought it up. Did Carol Baskin feed her husband to the Tigers?
Oh, yeah. Carol Baskin, she killed her husband.
Yeah, okay.
She done killed him. Not a doubt in my mind she killed her husband.
Andy, any comment from you on the matter?
I had to Google it today because a lot of people are putting stuff on Facebook about this woman, and I'm like, who is this woman? Yeah, I Googled it. I worked it out. I haven't seen the show. So
what's your take on it then? Did she do it? Emma? No?
Who, me? No.
No.
I don't know.
You don't know?
I don't even know who she is.
Jerry's out. Okay.
Well, if it helps you, the bar in my hometown, they have a roadside sign. They actually put on their roadside sign that, Carol Baskin killed her husband. So if a bar in New Minas/Kentville, Nova Scotia says it's true, it's probably true.
It's definitely true. She did. He 100% did. Yeah.
Oh, good. No, we've got a sensible question from Ian, but I think my response is that Jeffrey Epstein didn't kill himself. Ian says, is there one thing that you all can say is the change you have made that gave the most improvement? Ian's had a few drinks, I think. Anyway, is there one thing that's giving you the most improvement in your shooting? A single thing. Emma, we're going to kick off with you.
Not drinking on the Friday, the Saturday night. I don't know. Definitely helped. I just think, I don't know, experience, dry fire, practice.
Yep.
I definitely don't read the whole match book. I write down my distances and get a bit of a gist, but I don't let myself get right into it until the day, because otherwise I lie there all night thinking about it. It's not cool.
Yeah, I've heard that a bit more and more recently of guys not spending much time in the match book in the lead up to it. Just you being ready for it on the day. They might prep data or something like that, but beyond that, they don't really sort of spend any time in it. Yeah, that's interesting. That's cool. Andy, what about you, mate?
Yeah, I'll do the same thing about the match book. I'll have a quick flick through and maybe write down some possible notes, something like would a tripod work here, or would this work, or just something to think about. My data I'll grab first thing in the morning and for the first few stages, and then lunchtime for the rest of it. But I think probably the biggest thing is just having a bit of confidence in your ammunition and not to second guess it, if that makes sense. Like, the bullet doesn't lie, because I know, every now and then you'd send a shot and it would go off, or you'd think that, my loads are crap, or, my ammo's crap. But if you know that you've tested it and you've shot a good group and your ammunition's solid, then don't second guess it. I found having confidence in your system and your ammo helps heaps.
Yeah, fantastic. That's all right. Dave, we're coming to you, mate.
Yeah, kind of along that vein, obviously set your equipment up, find what works, and once you know your equipment's running good, spend as much time as you can sending it, so aka trigger time. And it's that old saying, practice makes perfect. Practice. Stop, don't spend, all night behind your reloading bench going, my case trim length, it's like half a thou out. Oh, it's going to screw me. It's like, whatever, man. It's just get out there and shoot and enjoy it. Remember your practice. Get out there and practice. Stop sweating the little technical things, and send it. I'm going to use that again.
Very good. Well, I've got a question for you, because then we've talked about the thing that's been significant, and for many guys, it's practice has been the big thing. And we talked before about one thing that we need to work on each. When you come across something that you feel is like a lacking skill for you, be it let's say it's shooting a particular position, or if it's managing your time or something on those lines, or not drinking on the Friday night, whatever it may be, how do you turn that into something you can practice? Because going, we need to practice is great, and practice can look like many things. How do you identify a particular issue, break it down, and then turn that into a practice routine that will then see results on the other side? Who's smiling the least?
I would say the best way to go about that is get someone to watch you shoot. They don't necessarily even have to be better, but there could be something. You actually did a video on this, or something, I guess, along this vein, where someone was actually closing their eyes or something before they even pulled the trigger.
Yep.
And it was something they might not notice. And even a beginner shooter could have looked at that and gone, why do you close your eyes before you pull the trigger? And you could go, because it's just that external vision to look at you and go, why do you do that? And then you kind of sit back and critique it and go, yeah, why do I do that?
Yeah.
I should work on that.
But I guess what
so
I'm...
get external feedback and action that feedback, I guess.
Yep. And what do you then, like, what does that look like? So you've got the feedback, Dave, of a particular thing that you're not doing very well. You know what you've identified it. How do you fix that? Like, what are your next step to turn that into something you practice?
Yeah, I guess it would depend on the scenario, maybe.
Yep. Okay, let's say that you've identified a position that isn't very good.
Yep.
You're kneeling. Kneeling for me right at the moment is a big weakness. I used to be good at it. I'm not now. What would you be good to go from there?
Start drilling the position, but that's when I'd probably start seeking advice for someone who's maybe pretty good at it. Mm-hmm. Kind of ask what works best for them. If you're going, say, positional and kneeling, you may have to do a slightly different variation, because the way I kind of thought positional, because I went the first year or so of PRS, I was basically, if there was a positional stage, I could safely assume that I was going to zero. And then last year, I wasn't cleaning all of them, but I could actually at least get, half the points. They're up in Darwin, the positional stage there. I was only one shot off cleaning it. And it was just a matter of kind of asking people what works for them. If it didn't, obviously try and run with that, because if it's working for them and they're doing quite well, then they're clearly doing something right.
Yeah. And
then maybe if I needed to, just find what works for me on top of that as well. Just experiment, play around with it. I've actually sat quite a bit doing the dry fire thing for positional stuff, and just sitting there, resting the gun in whatever position, and just seeing what variation was the most solid for me. It's very broad in general again, but practice. Just practice is how you resolve those problems.
Does anyone else have a different routine or a way of doing things?
Yeah, not really different. I mean, when I first got a centerfire, I got a 270 as my centerfire, and I reckon I developed a bit of a flinch from that, or just that anticipation of recoil after having sore shoulders from 50 rounds at the range. So to combat that, I went out and bought myself a 223 with a varmint barrel, and I had my 22 already. So I just spent more time between those two rifles, just sending rounds down with them and trying to work on not flinching. And I'd even try and get someone to load the rifle for me with or without a projectile in it, or a round in it, to try and see if I did have a flinch. But I think, that's probably one way to combat that. It's just, if you do have a large hitting caliber or a flinch, take it back to something that's not so hard hitting, or even dry fire, and just try and work it out of your system on that. Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. Very good. Emma, anything from you on that topic?
Yeah, I write notes in the back of my matchbook.
I saw them on Instagram.
Which are mostly swearing.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's mostly swear words, but it does mean things to me. It makes sense to me. But yeah, it's just a matter of going back to taking it home and practicing. If you bombed out on a tyre stage, play around with tyres, get good positions, and until you feel steady, and then practice it sort of on a timed sort of scenario. But yeah, I think a lot of it comes down to practicing afterwards, focusing on what you were bad at.
Yep.
And just practice that.
Yeah, sensational, guys. There's a couple of more questions in the chat, but we're running out of time tonight, so I'm copying and pasting them and saving them for next Q&A show. Excellent. Well, guys, thanks so much for your time tonight. I hope you have enjoyed yourself. I hope those watching have enjoyed, and I guess give these guys a bit of a like. No, these guys are all down here. We're doing the Brady Bunch thing now. I'm heavily distracted. I'm blowing up on TikTok. Yeah, I put a second TikTok video up, and it's gone 4 times as much as my last one. So I've made it. I've made it in the social media world.
4 likes.
Yes. better than your TikTok account, Dave. I'll tell you that.
It's 400% better than my TikTok account.
Yeah, it's 19 likes, Dave. In your
Oh, 1900% better than my TikTok account.
I'm the new sensation on TikTok.
Famous.
Anyway, heaps famous. Guys, thanks so
much. Where do I find your TikTok?
On TikTok. Guys, thanks for joining us tonight. Guys, thanks for following us in the chat. We will no doubt see all you guys sometime soon. Those on camera. Give one little shout out. We want to know how we can follow you if that's something we need to do. And one last piece of wisdom, if you've got it in you, Andy. Let's kick off with you.
Yeah. I'm at Andy Little PRS on Instagram and a Little Precision Rifle on Facebook. And yeah, trigger time. Get behind it. Don't worry about the little things.
Yeah. Emma, what about you?
I don't have any fancy pages, just my actual pages. So whatever.
Which are?
And which are Emma Stevens on Facebook and Stevo. I think that's what it _ Stevo on Instagram. I think that's all it is. But yeah, it's just really dry fire practice, muscle memory. It's a thing. Get on it.
All right. And Dave, take us out with a bang.
All right. As for Facebook, you've already tagged me in this, and that'd be my personal account, Dave Acker.
Sorry.
A bit. That's all good. If I wouldn't re-announce it if I didn't want it known. Instagram, probably a bit more active on that. Probably about 50-50 shooting content. Last post was about cats and salami. They can have a bit of salami as a snack. That is all right for cats. Instagram is DACKERW, so Dacker W. Also, one little piece of advice I take shooting, practice, and to determine what you need to practice, ask yourself, I'm doing this, what is it doing for my shooting? Is it doing anything at all? Like spending excessive amounts of time behind the reloading bench, sweating, a half thou difference in case size. Is it going to do anything? Is it worth the time? Nah, go practice instead.
Yep. Fantastic. Excellent, guys. Thanks so much for watching, for being involved. 5% off at Projectile Warehouse, the new website. Hit me up if there's any issues. Code is ID Live, ID LIVE. LIVE, I'm going too fast, with a 5 on the end, ID Live 5. Grab that, hit that up. I'm going to go make more TikTok videos, and we will get into this. We'll see you guys tomorrow night with Kerry Adams, all the way from over the Dutch in New Zealand, and we will see what he's got to say, guys. Looking forward to it. Thanks for supporting this. Thanks for being involved, and we'll catch you next time.
Hey, pretty baby. Father,